Hey, it's Wally Adamchik, president of Firestarter Speaking and Consulting, with your Wednesday word of the week. And today we have one that people don't often associate with leadership, but it's a really good one. To be humble to superiors is duty. To equals, courtesy. To inferiors, nobleness. Benjamin Franklin. Humble, not arrogant. Modest, courteously respectful. For the opposite, we would have arrogant, stuck up, disdainful, egotistical. In our society, the words humble and leader don't often go together. Put them side by side and you get that classic oxymoron, two things that don't go together, like jumbo shrimp, aluminum armor, or military intelligence. The concept of the heroic leader is far more consistent with conventional wisdom on leadership, but it is far less effective today than in earlier times. Heroic leaders are those larger-than-life figures who stand above the organization, urging it forward. Moses could certainly be in that category, and contemporary business might look to Jack Welch as a heroic leader of the late 20th century. While these heroic leaders do deliver results, research and wisdom tells us there is a better way today. Some would call it servant leadership. The term servant leadership was coined by Robert Greenleaf in 1970. It begins with the natural feeling that one wants to serve first. Then, conscious choice brings one to aspire to lead. That person is sharply different from one who is leader first. The leader first and the servant first are two extreme types. As out of place as that might seem in the 21st century, recent research uncovered the fact that despite the power we associate with the idea of leader, 93% of those who actually lead an organization view themselves at least partially as a servant of the people they lead. As human beings, none of us is better than another. Others may do certain things better, but that doesn't make them better as people. Someone may occupy a different station in life or position in the company, but that doesn't increase or lessen their value. The caste system in India was predicated on the belief that some people simply came into the world with more value, while others were born inferior. But here in the United States, even being the CEO of the corporation doesn't make someone better. They may have more responsibility, but they don't have more worth as a human being. And wise leaders understand the important dynamic and relationship they have with those who follow them. Jim Collins described the level 5 leader in his classic book, Good to Great. This is the humble leader who works to surround himself with smart people. Unlike when you have that celebrity leader where you get one genius with 1,000 helpers, this level 5 leader puts the company first. Celebrities put themselves first. People don't support the boss who does this. There is a direct relationship between the absence of celebrity and the presence of good to great results. When Starbucks founder Howard Schultz returned to the CEO role, he was forced to look at the missteps that the company had taken that weakened it, and some of those had his name on them. He emphasized doing things right to make it better and had some tough conversations. He could have cut healthcare, but that would have been a violation of trust. When talking about cutbacks, he conducted a company-wide meeting with him at the center. And he recalls, people went after me. I stood there and answered the questions, and I apologized for making decisions that people thought fractured the trust we had built for so many years. He goes on to talk about leaders celebrating the human connection and to make sure that his people realize the deep level of respect he had for the work they did and how they did it. My Marine Corps history serves us well here. Major General John A. Lejeune, the Commandant of the Marine Corps from 1920 to 1929, wrote, "The relationship between officers and enlisted should in no sense be that of superior and inferior, nor that of master and servant, but that of teacher and scholar." I have always liked that quote. I remember reading it in a recruiting booklet when I was in high school. I still like it. Here it is again. The leadership between officers and enlisted should in no sense be that of superior and inferior, nor that of master and servant, but that of teacher and scholar. The problem with some leaders stems from the perks and privileges accrued by the leader. In my work with senior leaders, I've stayed at plush resorts and flown on corporate jets. It's pretty heady stuff that can lead to arrogance and a false sense of entitlement. We see that in the press all the time. It's interesting to note that hubris or excessive pride was actually a crime on par with treason in the 6th century BC. In that same era, King Solomon cautioned his men, "It is not good to seek one's own honor. Doing so is like eating too much honey, sweet as it is, and healthy as it is in proper amounts. Too much of this good thing will make you sick, and sick of it." Several years ago, I invited a number of smart, talented people to join me in Raleigh for what could best be called the first fire starter corporate meeting. At the time, each of these people served as subcontractors to my firm, some on a very regular basis and some only occasionally. Each an accomplished professional and highly regarded in their field. They didn't need to be in Raleigh. They could have been anywhere, but they chose to be here. When I led Marines, I may have been leading an all-volunteer force, but beyond that, those people didn't choose me. When I led in business, the supervisors didn't choose me. They chose the company they work for, but not me. But this time, in Raleigh, these people chose to follow me. It was one of the most humbling experiences of my life. The age of the heroic leader is over. This fallacy was perpetuated in the CEO as media icon days of the late 90s. It was wrong then, and it's wrong now. While there are still instances of successful leaders of the heroic model, the greater truth is that most successful leaders recognize the privilege of leadership and are humbled by the opportunity to serve. Humility has been defined as a clear recognition of what and who we really are, followed by a sincere attempt to become what we can be. Humble doesn't brag about itself. It simply acts with honesty and tolerance. Humble wins. If I have seen further than others, it is by standing upon the shoulders of giants, said the giant Isaac Newton. All right, let's jumpstart. Let's have a humility jumpstart. Remember, the next person you meet is important and you might learn something from them. Do volunteer work and support worthy causes. Learn to apologize. Saying I was wrong will not kill you, and actually say it. My bad doesn't cut it. And read most anything by His Holiness the Dalai Lama. Humility in action. Let's see what it looks like. It would be contrary to the entire concept of humility to single out any one person here. It would probably bother them if I were to do so. However, the principle remains. To respect the people I place in this category, I will illustrate some of their behaviors, but not point them out personally. Opening doors for someone may seem like an antiquated gesture, but for this regional vice president, it underscores his belief that he is part of the team. This isn't just any region for just any company. It's half the United States for one of the largest contractors in the world. Listening skills are a key part of communication, but done well, they also send the message to other people that they matter. I know a senior leader who makes you feel like you're the most important person in the world while you're talking with him. He asks for your point of view and considers it deeply before commenting thoughtfully on it. He has an open mind that is based on his humility, that he does not have all the answers. I learned in the Marines to eat last. It meant my people were taken care of. I see precious few leaders practice this in the civilian sector. They're often in front of the line of the lunch buffet and care little when there's nothing left when the last employees come through. I work with a VP of Human Resources who simply goes last in the buffet line. He checks to see what's being served and then goes to the end of the line. It seems like such a little thing, but it's always noticed by students in the training. A regional manager I know will pick up debris as he walks a job. Cleanliness is a priority for this subcontractor doing high process work. He not only sets the example, but he shows everyone that no one is above keeping the job site clean. When I walk with him, I've learned to pick up debris too. I could cite numerous examples, but you get the idea. So A to Z application. Let's break out that journal. Let's get pen to paper. Let's get some kinesthetic learning going on. And on a scale of 1 to 10, how do you rate on this trait? 1, not very good. 10, superior. Do you equate humble with timid? And why do you have that thought if you do? List someone you know who exemplifies this trait and be specific. What are their behaviors? What did they do that caused you to put their name here? Try saying you were right more often. You can even add, I apologize sometimes. Do you eat last when you're with a bunch of people? And here's the payoff. What one thing will you do to improve in this area? There you have it. Humble. The word of the week from construction leadership from A to Z. I got another one coming for you next week, so don't forget to subscribe to this so you'll be in the know when the next word of the week comes out. I'm Wally Adamchik, and I look forward to seeing you soon.